hitting more, 4, 5, and 6 iron. So I have to be really prepared to hit those. But, 15 years ago, length was not an issue, and I don't consider myself to have slipped in much iron play. And I think the best players that play at Augusta are always good putters. It can't go south when you're putting around here, but length is a huge factor. But it's iron play, and I hit a lot of greens. And I can make some birdies, because you're going to make mistakes here. But I honestly think it's a couple things. One would be driving length. It has not really freaked me out to not hit the ball far on this golf course. And I'm a very good lag putter. On fast greens, I putt extremely well.
On the lag putts. Do you have a routine? It sounds like you play about 27 holes. You get there 6 days earlier. That's a lot of guys' routines. Give me your sense on the Fred Couples routine with Augusta Week. Let me hear your take on that.
Yeah, you know what? And well, the year I won on Monday night, I was in Minneapolis watching the final game, whatever year that was, 1992, I guess that's when I won. So
I think it was Duke, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. And went to the Saturday, and we had so much fun with Billy Packer and Jimmy that Blaine and myself, McAllister, who was a college teammate, we stayed in. We didn't even have a hotel room; it was totally full. So we slept in like a hospitality room that they set up for us on couches. But we didn't want to go. And then I got here Monday night, very, very late. Played Tuesday, Wednesday. So that was 1 year's preparation. That worked out very well. I have never come here early and played a couple practice rounds. The reason I come in a little earlier now is I can play on Sunday with a friend, and then it also helps me stretch the week where my body just gets going with the 6-hour flight and moving around. So I've had pretty good luck with that too, but normal for most players is really getting Sunday night, maybe register Monday, hit a few balls, maybe play a late 9, and so many guys are not wearing themselves out anymore, where they're playing 18 holes Monday, 18 holes Tuesday, and then, of course, Wednesday, the par 3 has become such a big event that most guys will play 9 holes and then play the par 3. And then the next thing you know is you're in bed, you wake up, and then the thing starts. All
right, the par 3 tournament. There used to be a big deal that the person who won the par 3 would never win the Masters. Is that just? I know that's an oddity. Do a lot of guys, are they superstitious about being too successful in a par 3 before they get ready to play the tournament?
Well, I barely ever get under par. I have made a couple hole-in-ones, but I've played 33 times in it, and the holes are 70 yards to 150 yards. But I honestly think, yeah, because when you win it, you're standing there and they give you a nice, beautiful trophy, and then everyone says, no one's ever won it. And I think most people know that. But if you're a younger player and you don't, it shouldn't affect you either way. It's just never happened. But I think there are a few good players who certainly have been close to winning it, and then will hit it in the water in 8 and 9 because they don't want to hit it, or they don't want to.
Oh, really? So you think people actually lose on purpose in the par 3, Freddie?
Oh, I honestly think so. Yeah, I think guys will go out and they'll get 3 or 4 or 5 under. If you're playing in one of the earlier groups, then it's kind of a routine. But if you shoot 4 or 5 under, then you have to hang around and for another 2.5 hours where everyone to finish. And I'm not saying that's bad, but I think most people, if you're a Jason Day or Tiger Woods,
you want to get out of there, you get ready, have something to eat, and go to bed. That's what you want to do.
Thank you. Right? Yes, thank you. You're Chris. You know sports more than I do. They're spot on that.
All right, now would a golfer, you specifically or anybody else, you rather play Thursday morning, Friday afternoon, or would you rather play Thursday afternoon, Friday morning? What do you rather? Great question. I think a perfect tee time would be in the morning. For instance, I believe I have maybe 12. I have early time, so I have an early afternoon time and I have an early morning time. Maybe it's 9:15 or 9:30, and then 12. So I like those tee times. I'm also playing with a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old, which will be fun for me because I enjoy that. But basically, when you're leading this thing on a Saturday or Sunday and you're teeing off at 3 o'clock, that's a real difficult thing. And I said it earlier. Tedious. Oh, that's tedious.
Well, Chris, back when I won in 92, my first tee time was 2:50, and I played a really good round. I was leading, I think, or close, and that was the earliest tee time I had for all 4 rounds because then they played, with your score. So I played at 3 o'clock and 3:15 my last 2 rounds. So that week was unbelievable, teeing off that late every day.
Yeah, but if you have your preference, would you rather go early Thursday? You'd rather go early Thursday. You would rather go early Thursday. Okay.
I'd rather go early Thursday and hopefully, get it going, and then Friday, if it's windy and tougher, then you can get a feel for what you need to do if you can. It's not like, oh yeah, I need to, shoot 70 on this course or 72, but it's I think if you look back, I think more people will play well playing early the first day, barring normal conditions. Now, I could play early tomorrow and then, have the wind pick up in the afternoon, and that's not an even match. Then it's pot luck.
Yeah, potluck indeed. Last two out of the last 3 years, the Houston Open winner has made the tournament. Herman did it 2 years ago. And how about the drama that we saw on Sunday with Poulter? Now, I know he's not everybody's favorite, but boy, what a job he did getting into the tournament with that win. He shows up here today. Were the golfers focused on that? Do the rest of the guys, were they watching that? Were they aware that Poulter had a win? There was a playoff with the Housley kid. How did that work with you guys at Augusta watching that on Sunday afternoon?
Yes, you're right on. Now this is kind of funny because, not funny, but a very good friend is Bo Hostler. He plays the same course I do.
So you're buddies. So I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
And so, he took it hard, and I told him, look, he's a world-class match play player, Ian Poulter, and that's what their round came down to. There were a couple other guys close, but Bo played really well. But the putt Ian made, and then to go out and then hit a very, very good, really good drive and a really good iron, put the pressure on Bo, and Bo failed 1 hole out of 73, and it cost him the tournament. But Ian almost did it at the match play, so he's a guy that can come in here and do well. I don't know what his record is here, but yeah, I think
he's played well there, Freddie. He's done a nice job. He's got 6 top 25 finishes. Go ahead.
Well, that's pretty darn good. If you're top 20s. And if you have a good weekend, you can win this thing with a 68, 69 weekend as hard as it's playing now. But it would have been unbelievable to have Bo here. But I think Ian deserves a lot of credit. You tell a guy, look, you're not in Augusta. He could have won 7 weeks ago, but he didn't. But your last try and you win, same as Herman. That's a big win.
Big win. All right, Tiger today. Let's get him out of the way. This book's gotten a lot of publicity. It's a great book, Fred. I know Tiger may not love it. I had the 2 authors on the other day in studio. They did a great job. Is Tiger aware of it? Did you talk to him about it? Is he annoyed? What can you tell me about that first? Anything interesting there at all or no?
Well, the interesting thing is a lot of people, in the galleries were not. I don't know. I haven't seen the book. I've seen a couple little things on it. I heard your show the other day talking about, the lady here who had the house. Yeah. And I don't really know, but I will say this: he's in a great frame of mind. I'm sure that's not something that, and I don't even know. Are they all? Is there's good things and bad?
Oh yeah.
things?
There's a lot of good things in there too.
Right. So I think if you're an athlete or, someone like yourself who some people don't like things you say and don't, you just take it in and out. It comes out this week. It's probably, not good or bad timing or either way, but
no, it's bad timing. It's bad timing for Tiger. Is he aware of the books? Is he aware the book is out? I'm sure he is, right, Freddie?
He's got to be. Yeah, he's got to be. But I don't know that because, I was too busy getting my butt handed to me by Thomas and Peters, and I got killed badly by Phil and Tiger. So we were trying to win a hole, but he's playing really well. If he knows about it, he didn't say anything, but people in the crowd know. There's no doubt because some people were making comments, but I didn't ask him a thing. I would feel like I'm asking about how good he's driving it.
You don't want to bother him. You're playing with him.
I don't want to bother him. And the other thing, Joey LaCava better than I probably know him of 22 years, but he and Joey are great. And I walked half the fairways with Joe, asking him about his daughter and his, she's over in Australia and all this stuff. But as far as Tiger, good shot, nice putt, nice to see you. Good shot, nice putt. You guys are 3 up. Now you're 4 up.
Right.
let us win a hole, Chris. Let us win a hole.
Does he look? Does he look good enough? I mean, listen, we all have seen him play. We've watched these 4 tournaments. I'm not sure. I think he's going to play well. I think he'll be in the mix. I don't know if he's going to win. What's your take on his chances here for the weekend? Then I'll ask you about Phil. Go ahead.
I would. Everything you just said. He looks really, really good. He's an unbelievable chipper and wedge player and putter. So the yips and all that, to me, people always say, what's the one thing? And I say you don't go from one of the best short games to the yips like that, and then, it's nerves. It's nerves in his body. It's flinching. So that's what I see. He's now pounding the driver. He's hitting irons like a machine, and so was Phil. They didn't look a whole lot different. I think maybe, Phil just won, so you could say that, but Tiger looked like a Tiger of old to me, and Phil looked like Phil, who always plays well. This is Phil's favorite park to play in. He's always going to hit a home run here, and he's done it 3 times. And then for Tiger, putting them, and then, of course, I asked him if, Thomas Peters could come in, because I think the world of Thomas Peters' game. He finished 4th here last year, and he looked just like them. They all played really, really well. And so, is Thomas Peters going to win? He could. Is Phil? Yes, he could. And is Tiger? He's going to be in the mix, just like you said. And it'll come down to, the last 13, 14 holes. I think Tiger will be there.
All right. How many people? Freddie's got to run here. I don't want to get him late for dinner, so we'll get him on his way. But how many players legitimately? You want to say 12? Jason Day, Spieth, Dustin Johnson, maybe Thomas. How many players in your eyes still have a legit chance to win this event?
Well, first, Chris, I'm not running away from you. I could sit and talk 2 hours. I got the past champions with Sergio, so they can all hear that.
What are they having? What are they cooking for dinner tonight?
It's Spanish. I can't pronounce, but one of it is lobster rice soup, and then his wife made a cake that we're having for dessert, and then there's another dish of a huge mixture of a salad. It sounds incredible. It's right up my alley. But
how many people go to that champions dinner, Fred?
Everybody. Doug Ford won't make it because he's doing okay, but he's in a home that they're just taking care of him, but he's doing okay. And I think probably 32 players will be there.
Are you allowed to bring your missus to that, or is it just the guys?
No. And you know what? You get there around 6:40. There's a lot of signatures. There's a little cocktail. The thing starts directly at 7. You take a picture and you sit down, and then at 8:55 you're done. Every year it's the same. There's a couple stories, not much. In the old days, Byron Nelson would get up and introduce the winner. And now it's Ben Crenshaw, and then Sergio will talk, and then everyone says thank you, and then you just head
so
to your car and drive home.
only 32 people go to the dinner. There's no wives, nothing. 32 people.
No, and then there's Fred Ridley, who's
the tournament rule guy.
New chairman. Yeah,
right.
He used to for a long time Billy Payne, but now Fred Ridley, and then the rest of it is past champions, and it's a very smooth dinner. So let's get to see if we can figure out next year's champ. You named him real quick. Spieth will be there. I think Dustin Johnson. I played last year with this guy John Rahm. I just think the way he hits the ball and putts, he's going to be there. Justin Tom. Why don't I just name the top 10 players in the world and go with that?
Yeah, very.
Because they're going to be there. Rory. These guys are all Bubba Watson, who
plays great here. Plays great here.
Yeah, plays great here, and he's playing really well, and it's imagination. And then we already said, I think Phil and Tiger are going to be. Well, Phil is amazing to me, and Tiger looks amazing to me. So one guy is coming back, and probably hasn't had a shot at winning Augusta in a few years, which would be Tiger. But I think his game is got no issues. It doesn't. No, he hasn't been around because he's driving it. Honest to God, he hit a couple drives that.
Will he hit driver on 13 and 15?
He hit it 3-wood on 13 around the corner. Again, I can tell you this because we lost the hole. He hit a 6-iron, 12 feet made eagle.
All right.
And on 15, he hit a drive 30 yards past Thomas and Phil and he hit an 8-iron 4 feet, made eagle.
Is that a 3-wood or a driver on 15?
On 15, a driver.
What did he do on 8? Was it a driver or a 3-wood?
We didn't. Yesterday we played 8. He had a beautiful drive but a little to the left, and he had to kind of hook. I think he had a 5-wood up in front of the green. We weren't playing a game then, but there's bunkers there to the right that no one can carry anymore. So you got to be careful there. But if he hits a good drive on 8, he can knock it on.
What's the hardest hole on a golf course, Fred?
What a question. For me, I think it's number 11 because I used to struggle on number 11, and now it's 70 yards longer. But the first hole right out of the box, Chris, is a really, really tough green. Maybe not the hardest driving hole for some people, but, for me, tomorrow I'm going to play it. I'm going to hit a driver and a 5 or 6 iron, and the green has so much undulation to it, and they're going to be rock hard unless it rains. But number 11 as far as a score, and then if you're not a long hitter and you have to lay up on 15, there's a lot of balls that will be spun off the front of the green.
That third shot on 15 is hard, no question about it.
Is brutal because, they've lengthened it, and then when you go for it with a much longer club like I will, and you go long of the green, now you're chipping back up the little hill.
And
then
you can't get up and down, so you can't get any better than a par. So that makes it difficult.
Bingo. And you don't want to make a 6, and if you chip it in the water or spin it off the green, you're making 6 or 7, and, you've seen it. But for me personally, number 11, there are a couple other holes, that are playing much difficult. The fourth hole, is a par 3 that's 250 yards with basically very little green to hit to. It's big, but you just can't I can't keep a ball on it. So these bombers are hitting a 3 or 4 iron into it. But the fourth hole's brutal. It's a very tough hole too.
Last one. All right. I got a buddy of mine, Mike Devine. Right. He's the head. He's been a club champ at Shorehaven. Little guy, Joe LaCava knows it.
Yeah.
He has been the club champion there on more than one occasion. He shot a 68 there once. It's a Robert White course, 1924. Good golf course, a lot of par 3s. Let's say he's a 2 or a 3.
Yep.
All right. If he came out.
Yep.
And played on Thursday.
Okay.
And played the back tees.
Yep.
The same tees that you play.
Yep.
And he played relatively well. What would he score?
86.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, my brother, is 9 years older than I am. He's never been here. I can't bring him here. I can bring myself, but he's asked me that before, and he's a good player. He can take his game like your guy from course to course. And I said, Tommy, I'd bet you my life you couldn't break 85. You can't get the ball in the right spots to 2-putt. So you're going to 3-putt half the holes, and the ones you don't, you're chipping up because you couldn't reach them.
So so a good club player is going to 3-putt 9 of those 18 greens, Fetty?
Yes, and now if your guy plays, let's say he plays the first hole, right, and he hits a drive and he can't quite get to the green in 2 because the hole's 460 and the tee shot's uphill. So now he's going to put his second shot in front of the green. So if he hits a decent chip, yeah, he'll have a par putt. So if he leaves it below the hole and he misses his par putt, he'll make 5. But if he hits this second shot with enough strength and it goes long left, he's going to do everything in his power to make a bogey. So would I. So would Tiger. So
there's too many places a good club player at a good course is going to struggle with on this kind of course.
Yes, and Chris, a good 2 handicap is never going to have a stretch where he goes par, bogey, birdie, par, bogey. It's impossible.
Can a good 2 handicap get up there in 2 on 13? Can be putting for eagle on 13 and 15?
I don't know if it's a 25-year-old kid who's a 2 hits it a long way, but I would say sure. There are guys can reach the 13th hole. The 15th, no way. The second, no way. Number 8, no way. But one thing your friend will have, the time of his life. It's my favorite. Where's your favorite course in the world, Chris? Where would you just want to wake up?
Well, I haven't played nearly as much golf. I'm going to take a group of guys, by the way, to Scotland, Fred.
You are on the right track
for my 60th birthday. But
yes.
I am. If I had to tell you a course that you know what I would say? I'd probably say Pebble Beach.
Well, me too. It's in my top 3. So they're Augusta, Pebble Beach.
Shinnecock would be up there too, Freddie. Shinnecock.
Well, and that is one I've only played a couple U.S. Opens in, and by the way, I didn't do particularly well. But Pebble Beach would be one. You know why? Because there are things you can do, and then if your guy came to Augusta and he was a golf nut, he could always say, well, this is the shot Phil had in the 13, and this is the shot that Jack Nicklaus had on 16, or the putt, or this is where Fuzzy Zoller won from when he made it on the 11th green. You do the same thing at Pebble Beach, but Augusta, it's every year, so there's so many things. But as far as score,
86.
I don't ever want to tell some guy he can't play golf, but the odds here are you're just behind the 8 ball.
Freddie, go ahead. Yeah,
no, I was just saying.
86.
But if he came here earlier in the year when the course was open, he might shoot 82 because the greens will be a little slower. But when we're talking about master speed, it's man, you gotta be an unbelievable putter just to 2-putt from 30 feet.
Freddie, you play well. My eyes will be attuned. I promise.
All right.
Keep up the good
Chris,
work, pal.
Love you to death. Glad to be on. See you baseball season.
Now you got it, Freddie Couples. Now we go from that to our next.